Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's been about 2 weeks since Nathan had the last L67 video up about doing the heads and the valves. But in today's video, we're going to be doing the injectors and fuel filter in Sam's VS, which I assume is the same as Buick, so VN, VP, VG, Statesman's, VQs, VT, VY, VX, so yeah, a few Commodores. It does have a bit of a rough start and a flat spot, so I assume, again, like injectors or fuel filter. We're going to do that today and clean the IAC at the same time. If I can get a video of it starting rough, I will now. I've never personally changed injectors or a fuel filter, but I assume it's pretty easy. It's just an Ecotec. So the first thing we're going to do is unhook the IAC, the TPS intake. We're going to undo these 6 bolts, one up there, oh actually these 2 as well, and remove the top of the plenum. Also, I'm not sure what all the blue smoke is. I know blue smoke is oil, and like black smoke is petrol, and white smoke steam or whatever. It could be like head gasket water, but blue smoke, VS things. So now IAC TPS is taken off and all the bolts are undone. You can just take the top of the plenum off. It's actually not too dirty, which is good. That's a little bit bad. But give this a bit of a clean to improve airflow. So we might give that a little bit of a clean now, but not an extensive clean by any means. So now that's off and the inside of the intake plenum is cleaned with a bit of degreaser. Same with the top of it. We've had this bit of a blowout and it fits all the way around. I don't know, I'll have to look at that later. I don't know if it's stretched or something. And the next thing you want to do is undo these 5 bolts, which I'm just going to guess a 10mm or an 8mm, and then this will come off. Those 5 bolts are out, and I assume by this wiggling that you can just pull it straight out. So if my apprentice could hold the camera, and I'll try and rip it out and destroy the injectors at the same time. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. I'll be right back. There's actually a C-clip in here with every injector to attach it to the rail. So I'm just going to go around and unplug all the injectors. I'm going to have to do it with 2 hands. And undo all the C-clips and then try and lift it up. So as I thought, undoing the C-clips and all that, it'll just lift right up. Not too sure from, oh, the injectors come up too. So I was right the first time. Ah, okay. It's kind of, alright, I might gonna have to take all this off. I don't want to though. Maybe I can just, so because it's still attached to all vacuum lines and breathers and everything, we're just gonna lift it up and do one by one. That way as we go around. I got Sam's help. So we didn't have any like Vaseline or anything, so we just put a little bit of grease around it. Try not to get it in the end of the injector. Obviously it won't spray. We've already got one in. Grab it and it just slides in. This injector's in there, in the motor itself, so I'm gonna have to get that out. Also make sure when you pull an injector out, the O-ring is still on it. It might get stuck in the fuel rail or the motor itself, and you'll have to dig it out because you don't want to try and jam that new O-ring or the new injector on top of it. So again, just slides in. No grease really helps. So we've got this bank in, these 2, and Sam's going to chuck in the last one. I don't know if I can get a shot. Boop, there it goes in. Alright, so we're going to place it back into the top of the motor now, try and get them all lined up and seat it. Kind of push down at the same time. Is your side in? Yeah, it's in the holes, but I just don't know how far it's supposed to go down. So if you put the plenum back on, line all them up and start tightening it down, it brings the injectors into place and seats them nicely after we found out trying to mess around with it. But they're all in, all those little C-clips are back on because we yanked the plenum up and clipped them on. Yeah, now it's time to tighten down these 5 bolts. Obviously in the not a star pattern, but outside and inside. Then we'll plug the injectors back in and the top of the plenum. So because this gasket blew out up here and like stretched, went down to Super Cheap and bought a new one right before they closed. It's got your valley gaskets in it, throttle body, TPS or IAC with the O-rings for it. I'm not too sure what those are. And your plenum gasket. And don't forget to vote apparently. It turned up in the mail. New gaskets in. I thought about doing the throttle body gasket as well, which I might do. Just undo a bolt or two. I'll show you that in a second. But chuck this back on, we'll tighten it back up. But I love working on cars. It's a love-hate relationship. After you go to start up, once you've lost fuel pressure, you want to prime it. Go grab a fuel filter from eBay or from Repco, Super Cheap, whatever. On the VN, VP, VRVS utes, or VG, which is your VN VR, which is your VN VP, sorry. Just under the filler neck, right here. Bit hard to see, but keep notice on which way it goes in. You might get a bit of fuel on you, so watch out, but just undo this here, and that one there. I'll set you up. There's the fuel, and you can just work it. It's got a bit of a rib on it, so it's a bit hard. It's gonna leak all the fuel out of it and out of the line. Right, now you want to take these little end caps off. Do that last second so you don't get anything in there. Slide it back on each side. Maybe I'll go this way first. And just slide it on, and of course just tighten them back up. Really don't forget to tighten them back up, that's important. Need a little electric screwdriver Ryobi, that would be pretty cool. It's probably the easiest fuel filter I've done. If you've ever done a B series Falcon one, you know they're a pain in the ass with the thread. Did a ute one time with a Tanker 98. It burnt my arms a couple of years ago. And that is a fuel filter. So as you saw in the last clip, the injectors didn't actually help it. It still did the same thing. So hopefully this will help. We'll see what's in it. Look at the colour of that. Bit of dirt. Should have done that onto a tea towel and let it dry. But we'll start it up now and see how that goes and see if that fixed anything. So obviously didn't do it up tight enough, and there is a bit of a leak. I wanted to take a look under. I've got the degreaser in my eye. But I give that a bit of a dry first before I do that again stupidly. It doesn't look like it's the fuel filter. It looks like it's this right here, because the fuel filter is actually dry. And that's still splashing me. So that was just a leak. There's just a leak on this joint just here. I don't know if you can see that. I must have moved it when I was moving that. But tighten that up, all sweet. The thing is, I'll put you guys down. So after doing 6 injectors and the fuel filter, thinking it would change that rough start problem, I'll sit you guys down, give it a kick in the guts. Got a high idle because silly me, I've got to plug in the IAC so I can get that plugged in. We'll give it another go and see how it goes. really tell if it fixed it because it usually only happens on startup. Like, oh sorry, when it's cold on startup. So I'll have to look at that another day. But that's how you do a fuel filter and injectors in a, I assume, VN, VP, VQ, VG, VR, VS, VT, VX, VY. See you in the next video.